The sun was barely cresting over the Coronado Dunes when the first punch landed. Petty Officer Third Class Sarah Klein hit the sand hard, the breath knocked clean out of her lungs, her vision flashing white as the boot came down again. She was the only woman in the drill cohort that morning, and the 4 men circling her had decided the Navy's new gender-integrated BUD experiment needed a lesson in reality. "Stay down, Princess," one of them snarled, his voice muffled behind the black balaclava they all wore for the exercise. Sarah tasted copper. She tried to roll, to remember the defensive tactics she'd drilled 1,000 times, but the next kick caught her ribs and folded her in half. The instructor on the tower was supposed to be watching. He wasn't. The camera drones overhead were supposed to be recording. They'd been disabled 10 minutes earlier. No one was coming. That's when the shadow fell across the sand. If you're new here and you felt that chill crawl up your spine just now, hit that subscribe button real quick so you never miss the moment justice gets served raw. Let's dive in. Sarah had enlisted at 19, fresh out of a nowhere town in Ohio where the only thing taller than the corn was her father's expectations. She'd aced the PST, shattered the female push-up record, and grinned through every "you don't belong here" whisper in boot camp. She wanted to be a SEAL because her older brother had come home from Fallujah in a flag-draped box, and someone had to carry the torch. The Navy brass loved the optics, first female to ring the bell at BUDS Phase 1. The guys in her boat crew? Not so much. They called her token behind her back and ma'am to her face with just enough venom to sting. She logged every slight in a waterproof notebook, the way her brother had taught her. Document, endure, overcome. That morning's drill was supposed to be a simple surf passage. Carry the IBS inflatable boat through the breakers, flip it, right it, repeat until... Your muscles screamed mercy. Sarah's crew had been sabotaging her for weeks, loosening her rucksack straps, hiding her fins, accidentally dropping the log on her foot during team carries. She'd reported none of it. Snitches drown, the saying went. But sabotage is one thing, a coordinated beatdown on the open beach is another. The 4 men, Petty Officers Decker, Mills, Torres, and the ringleader, Chief Warrant Officer Hale, had planned it for days. Hale was old-school Tier 1, a legend in the teams with a chest full of fruit salad and a reputation for breaking anyone who threatened the Brotherhood. He saw Sarah's presence as an insult to every man who'd bled out in his arms. So when the instructor turned to log scores, Hale gave the nod. The fists flew. Sarah curled fetal, arms protecting her head, counting the blows like she counted reps. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. She tasted sand and blood and the metallic tang of fear. She thought of her brother's last letter, the one tucked in her sea bag. "If they ever try to take your fire, sis, burn the whole damn place down." She was about to black out when the voice cut through the chaos like a 50 cal round. "Stand down, now." The 4 men froze mid-strike. The voice wasn't loud, but it carried the kind of authority that made knees buckle. Master Chief Special Warfare Operator Jacob Reaper Reyes stepped out of the dunes, his camis still dusted with Afghan sand, from a classified op he'd chopper lifted in from that morning. Reyes wasn't supposed to be on the grinder. He was on leave after his 3rd Purple Heart. But he'd come to watch the new class, to see if the rumors about standards dropping held water. What he saw instead was a war crime in progress. Hale recovered first, puffing his chest. "This is a training evolution, Master Chief." She failed to maintain boat security. Reyes didn't let him finish. In 2 strides he was nose to nose with Hale, close enough to smell the dip on the chief's breath. "You just assaulted a shipmate on federal property. That's Article 128 UCMJ, and I've got it all." He tapped the GoPro strapped beneath his plate carrier, standard for his direct action unit, always rolling. The 4 men exchanged glances. The drones might be down, but Reyes's bodycam had been live-streaming to a secure server the entire time. Sarah pushed to her knees, coughing blood into the sand. Reyes knelt beside her, his voice softening just enough for her to hear. "You good to walk, Klein?" She nodded, fire returning to her eyes. "Then walk, head high." She did, every step a middle finger to the men who tried to break her. What happened next unfolded like a military thriller written by someone who'd lived it. Reyes marched the 4 assailants straight to the quarterdeck, GoPro footage already uploading to the base legal officer. But he didn't stop there. See, Reaper Reyes wasn't just any SEAL. He was the guy who'd pulled a wounded teammate through 3 clicks of Taliban fire in the Korangal, the one whose after-action reports read like Hollywood scripts, and he had a reputation for protecting his own, standards be damned. Within an hour, the base was locked down. The commanding officer, a 2-star admiral who'd never seen combat, tried to contain the scandal, quiet NJPs, maybe some extra duty. Reyes wasn't having it. He went rogue in the most SEAL way possible. He went public, but smart. He leaked the unedited footage to a trusted embedded reporter with clearance, the one who'd been with his platoon in Ramadi. By 1800, the video was on every major network, 4 masked men beating a female sailor senseless while the Pacific roared behind them. The caption read, "This is what lowered standards looks like." The backlash was biblical. Congress called for hearings. The Secretary of the Navy flew in on a red-eye. Hashtags exploded. Hashtag SEAL justice. Hashtag not on my watch. But the real hammer fell in the teams themselves. Reyes activated the oldest code in the Brotherhood. You protect the weak, or you're not one of us. He convened an informal tribunal in the Team 3 ready room. 30 pipe-hitting operators who'd served with Hale and now had to choose between legacy and honor. One by one, they turned their backs on the 4 men. No speeches, just silence that cut deeper than any court-martial. Hale's career ended first, stripped of his trident in a ceremony that lasted 90 seconds, the pin clattering to the deck like a death knell. Decker, Mills, and Torres followed within the week. Dishonorable discharges, benefits gone, names blacklisted from every contractor on the planet. The instructor who'd looked away, reassigned to Thule, Greenland, counting polar bears for the rest of his enlistment. But the story doesn't end with revenge, it ends with Sarah. 6 months later, she stood on the same grinder where she'd been beaten, this time in dress whites, her ribs still taped but her voice steady. She rang the bell, not to quit, but to mark the end of Phase 1 as the first woman to complete it under the new, unforgiving standards Reyes had personally rewritten. The entire class, male and female, hoisted her onto their shoulders. Reyes watched from the back, a ghost of a smile on his scarred face. He'd ruined 4 careers to save 1 soul, and in doing so, he'd reminded the teams what the trident really meant. Sarah's now a second-class diver on a West Coast team, running ops most operators only read about in classified briefs. She still carries her brother's letter, but now it's laminated inside her plate carrier. And every time a new female candidate asks if it's worth it, she shows them the scar on her cheek and says, "Some fires don't go out. They just burn hotter." The Navy never officially acknowledged Reyes's role. He took heat for the leak, spent 30 days in the brig for conduct unbecoming. But when he walked out, every operator on Coronado saluted. Some rules are bigger than regulations. So that's the story of the day beaten. Sailor became a legend, and 4 bullies learned the SEALs protect their own, no matter who's wearing the uniform. If this hit you in the feels, smash that like button and drop a comment. From which part of the country are you watching this video? Let's see how far the trident reaches tonight.